Hey guys, this is Vanngo. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have a beautiful Brazilian beauty here with me, and I create this bricky monochrome color makeup look for you. I didn't know what I was planning to do and just play with them, and this is what it come out. I hope you enjoy the video. Give the channel some love, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to follow both Fanciel and I on Instagram as well. Thank you so much for the support. To start every makeup, I always do some skincare prep. For the lips, I use some lip balm from Laneige. For the eye, I'm going to use this new eye cream from Fenty. The eye cream does also come with this little tune like this. It's a cooling tune, and I think it's a great idea. You can also do a little cooling like this around the eye to depuff the eye if you like. It feels nice on the eyes, right? I think this is great in the morning. You can do that for a few seconds. Close your eye. You can do that, and then you can also leave on the fridge and do a little cooling. When you have time, you just use this alone if you like to depuff the eye. Close your eye. You can spend more time on that part if you like, but it does come with an eye cream. And I'm using a little bit of the eye cream after. You can use the tune first, or you can use with the eye cream and use the tune. Either way, it still does a lot. Close your eye for me. The eye area is the most delicate area, so try to be super gentle. Even you do a little massage, always go very gentle on the eye area. I'm going to use some serum from Suwashu. It is a Korean brand, but you can get it everywhere. It is a very hydrating serum. The best way to apply serum is just press into the skin first, and then you can distribute a little bit after if you like. For face cream today, I'm using the same brand. Face cream, again, just press on the skin first. And then you can do a little massage after. I know not everyone have a lot of time in the morning to get ready, but I think if you spend an extra minute or two to depuff the face, you're gonna look very radiant when you put makeup on. For foundation concealer, I'm going to use the Chanel Le Beige Healthy Glow Foundation. This is more a lighter foundation, but it is buildable. You want more coverage, you can actually build it. For concealer, I'm using two different shades. I'm using a 30 and a 40. The 40 concealer of this is pretty close to this shade. I know the shade I'm using is 60, but it's actually a pretty good match when it comes to cover anything that I want to cover. The number 30, I'm using a little lighter shades because I generally like under the eye, the area, the bridge of the nose, the forehead here, on the chin, these area, I like them a little brighter. So that's why I like to use a lighter concealer. You don't have to, you can use just the same shade if you like. But for me, I think when you create different color on concealer foundation, it gives you way much more dimension on the skin. For the foundation, I apply mostly in the center area. And then I use a kabuki brush from Race Morris. She's a makeup artist in Australia. And just to buff out the foundation. As you can see, even if it's a light foundation, it does give you a very nice, even coverage. Technically, you don't really need that much foundation. Most people would use a lighter foundation and they use concealer to even out any imperfection. That way, the skin's still gonna feel skin. I love this kabuki brush. I used to use a sponge, but they discontinued. So now I'm trying all different kind of brushes, and this is the one I like. Using kabuki brush is the best way to blend the foundation out. If you want sheer, you just do the way I'm doing right now. You don't have too much. If you want heavier coverage, you can press it in like this. If you want even more, you just really press the product in. For everything I use, from brushes, skincare products, everything I put on description box, so you guys can go down there and check it out. If you want to know what I use, I know a lot of you DM me to ask questions, but for me to spend time to answer everyone what I use is almost impossible. So it's better that we list everything and you can find it out in the description box. For the lighter concealer, I'm using mainly under the eye area. You can use the finger brushes or whatever you like. Look up for me. Then what I would do, I use the same kabuki brush that I use foundation. I blend it out. If you like the nose more defined, you can leave the concealer a little longer. For me, I just want a tiny bit of brighten that area, so I still want to blend everything out. I don't want too much to define contour highlight on the face. What I want to do as well, you see this corner here, when people genetically have a more shadow around that area, I also add a little more concealer there. For the number 40 concealer, I use this around the nose, use my finger and blend it out. I also use with a smaller brush and cover anything that I would like to cover. For contour, I'm using the shade Medium from Huda Beauty Contour. Using the It Cosmetic No. 7 brush, I'm just blend out all the perimeter of the face. It does look a little dark, but when you blend it out, it won't look like that at all. So what I do, I just place the product everywhere that I want a shade. Sorry. I know it looks a little crazy like this. Fancy doesn't need any of these at all, but every time I do a tutorial, I would like to show every single step, and you can use your own judgment of how much, how little product you want to use. What I'm doing right now is I'm just blend out everything. Again, I know Francie herself, she would never put this much makeup on, but she just lending me her canvas today for me to play a look. Thank you. Because the thing is that like makeup is really personal. Everyone wear how little, how much makeup is differently from each other. So it's better when I do a video, I do everything and then you can just play however you like. I just give you some idea, inspiration, and then you go from there. As you can see, after you blend everything out, you don't see the harsh demarcation anymore. It's just really shading the face really well. For powder, I'm also use the powder from Chanel. I'm using shade 20 and 30. 20, I put mainly under the eye area. And then basically all the area that I used the lighter concealer earlier. You don't have to. For the 30, I'm used mainly everywhere else that I use the darker concealer or the foundation, I mean. You don't have to use both powder, but it's just an idea. If you use on yourself, you can just use shade 30. You see I keep the powder pretty matte, and you still see all the contour I'm doing. But what I'm gonna do next is I'm also gonna use a bronzer and just warm conceal up again, mostly everywhere I did the contour. So basically, I use the same color and just warm up a little bit everywhere I do the contour and basically blend it out as well. This is shade Deep. The bronzer is Bronze Goddess from Estee Lauder. For eyebrow, Francie have incredible full brow. She very smart. She doesn't let people tweeze them at all. I think it's actually, if you're not the type person who spend every day tweeze your eyebrow, keep it natural and then just enhance them with pencil and powder. What I'm going to use some brow powder from Suku and then a pencil as well, which I'm gonna use to extend longer the shape and just fill in some little gap. The powder I'm using with a brush, I'm just give the brow a little more softness in the front, and by using the brush and just blend it out. To start the brows, I'm using the brush, dip a little bit in there. The best way to use brow powder or eyeshadow, just dab a little bit like this. I think it's ridiculous when people do like that because every brow powder or shadow will look very dusty and you have a lot of fall off when you do that. And then you can do after, you just brush it backward like this against the natural hair growth. The hair gonna feel so much softer and it fills in all the gap for you. And the best way to check how much and how little you use, you can brush up again and you just checking on the shape before you continue. For brow, I think it's so much better to do a little bit at a time because a tiny dab can make the eyebrow look so harsh. And what I'm doing, I'm always do very little like this, and that way you have more control of the shape. As you can see, with the powder alone, the eyebrow pretty nice and soft, full in the front area. So on the outer part, you can use the powder as well, but I'm just use the pencil, and this way I will try to make the shape a little more defined. You see what I'm doing right now, just extend it a little longer. And then using the little tip, just draw individual hair. So that is the shape that I'm thinking I'm gonna do. I'm going to do the other side as well. To set the brow, I'm using the brow frizz from Anastasia Beverly Hills. The best way to use is just a spoolie like this and just dab on very little. A lot of people telling me that it take away your makeup. I think it's because you use too much product. And the best way, you just brush it up slightly. I mean, it doesn't matter what product you use. You should always apply with gentle hand because if you do heavy, there's nothing gonna work. The eyeshadow you do too heavy, it gonna fall off. It doesn't matter, the shadow doesn't have a lot of fall off. The same thing, this product, if you use too harsh, push too hard on the skin, the brown makeup gonna come up as well. So what I do is I'm always use with very light-handed like this. And you don't need too much. And when it's set, it doesn't move. Before I apply eyeshadow, I'm going to use eyeshadow primer as well. Close your eye. I'm using a little bit of the eyeshadow primer from Urban Decay. You can use the eyeshadow brush to blend it out or just by your finger. For eyeshadow and eyeliner, I'm going to use eyeshadow quad named Desert Haze from Charlotte Tilbury and Walk Up No Shame liner also from Charlotte Tilbury. To start, I'm going to use this shade with a large eyeshadow brush. Enough for me. And blend this all over the eyelid. I'm basically put the same color all over the lid. Use the same shades. I put a tiny bit along the lower lash line as well, all across. This way it will help to define the shape of the eye. And then you can see the way I do outward and upward. I usually don't like to apply the eyeshadow like this because a tiny brush movement does help to lift the eyes, and when you do like this, it does, create a droopy on the eye shape. Next, I'm going to use this shade right here. It's enough for me, just mainly on the socket area. And just very little, and just soft-handed and blend it out. I know the color is not a huge difference, but I think that's enough. That's what I'm trying to do, because I try to keep the eyes still very soft, and this just helps to enhance and define the socket area. And try to blend really well together. Blending should be your best friend when you do eyeshadow. The next step, I'm going to use same shades, just a little bit on the corner here. And be careful on this area. You don't want to go too much lower because you're trying to lift the eye earlier. So just keep exactly right where the corner you create earlier and blend it out. A little bit and blend it out. Use the big brush you used earlier. Look up again, and now just blend it out again. Close your eye. So everything's seamlessly together. Next, I'm using the color liner. Look up for me. I'm rimming all around the waterline. Look down for me. You can use black if you like to, or any other color you like. I like to use everything in the same family for this look, because I'm trying to keep everything more bricky, monochrome look. Look up for me. And I always like to do a little more in the corner here to make it really feline. Using a small blending brush and just soften it out a little bit. For the upper lash line, I'm drawing a thicker line, thinner on the inner part of the eye and thicker on the outer part. Again, outward, upward, everything just follow the lash line. And then using the blending brush, blend it out. You can do a defined line as well for this look. If you want to use a liquid liner, you can. I just like to keep the edge softer, so use the pencil and blend it out. Same thing on this side. There are many different ways you can take from here. For the socket area here, or the eyeball area, you can use shimmer, you can use gloss, you can use metallic, you can use anything. But I want to keep the whole eye pretty matte. That's why I'm using this shade as well in the center area here. I'm not trying to use any shimmer, metallic, or anything like that. I think the whole idea to keep pretty matte the whole thing, but from create these, even you don't use different texture, you still create a dimension on the shadow. Cover me. Use the first brush that we used earlier with no extra product. You just blend the edge out. You don't have to, but for me, I'm showing you how I blend everything together still. Look up. Always curl your lashes before mascara. For mascara, I'm using this mascara from a Korean brand called Eyebrow. They more defining volume mascara. I'm gonna use 2 coats. For blush, I'm going to use the blush and bronzer combo from Bare Mineral. This is more a shimmering blush to me than bronzer, but depending on the shade, you can use them as a bronzer as well. And the placement where I'm going to put the blush is mainly on the upper cheekbone. How much and how little the blush is up to you. For highlighting, I'm using a highlighter Solar Crush from Estee Lauder, and the shade I'm using is more like a bronzy golden bronzer shade. Turn this way for me. I usually on the temple area here. The bridge of the nose a little bit. Give it a roll. A little bit on the cheek. I love when the skin really matte and you just add highlight here and there. For lip, I'm going to use lip liner from House Lab and this lip cream from Korean brand called Eyebrow. The same brand I use for the mascara. Vanngo have really beautiful shaped lips. I'm not going to change anything. Basically, I don't really need to use a lip liner at all, but I'm using it just to define the shape a little bit. The color of lipstick I'm using is still same family of the blush, the shadow. I keep everything in the monochrome color. Smile for me. I think these bricky shade is so beautiful on olive skin tones. To complete the look, I'm going to set the makeup with a little bit of watermelon spray from Glow Recipe. This is not really a makeup setting. it's more a refreshing, and because I use a lot of foundation and powder, sometimes it's nice to have everything melt together. That's the look, guys. It's more monochrome color on bricky shades. I hope you enjoy video. I hope you give the channel a lot of love and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow both Francille and I on Instagram as well. Thank you so much for watching.